Hello and welcome. We are going to do a little bit of I guess a tutorial. I don't really want to call it a tutorial because I'm not an expert. Been playing these games for forever, but I'm just going to go through how I set myself up, my gaming joystick primarily. It's just going to be a high level, real quick. I know people have some issues when it comes to twin sticks as far as setting throttles up in Star Citizen and Elite Dangerous. I don't think I'll run through both of them right now, but I'll give you a kind of a high level run through on my Star Citizen setup. Um, for reference, I have twin sticks, obviously. The right stick is the Virpil. Uh, it is the VPC Warbird, and the stick or the grip is the Constellation Alpha. Had it for about a month now. There's some things that I don't care for about it, but then it's really well built. I have a couple issues with the triggers. One of the flip down trigger is very catchy. It doesn't retract on its own. I have to flip it back. It's really annoying. I pulled the cover off of it, and I've tried cleaning it out. It had some like assembly debris in there. Not real happy with that. The buttons and triggers overall are consistently soft. I'm not a fan. My left stick, what I use for my thrust and my yaw, which is the VKB Kosmosima. It's you could definitely tell it's more mass production type. It's not as smooth and soft, and but I tell you what, it fits my hand a lot better. I like it a lot. Now, it's got the gunfighter base. I'm not real sure about the base. That's the one thing that I feel like the Virpil has on the VKB. The buttons and switches. I wish there was an analog brake lever on the VKB. But other than that, if it wasn't for that, and I wish it had a thumb wheel. Those are two things that I think that this VKB is missing. But to be honest, other than that, the trigger is, well, I would say phenomenal compared to the Virpil. The Virpil trigger I don't know. I just don't like it at all. The reason I'm in the position of having to set my sticks back up is I just recently changed systems. I don't really want to call it an upgrade. It is an upgrade. But I was very happy with my old system. When I changed all those components, I had to do a fresh install of Windows. And I wasn't bright enough to remember, because I haven't been playing Star Citizen or Elite Dangerous a whole lot recently, and kind of working and playing Dual Universe and a couple other games. I didn't think, basically. Felt pretty stupid. Didn't save my files, didn't save my controls, which I had them set up and I was really happy with them. But here we are. I got to do it again. So I might as well take some people along for the ride, and hopefully you get something out of it. I've always been a stick and throttle guy. This is the first twin stick. The little bit that I've used it for about a month, I'm really happy with it. I really enjoy it in Star Citizen. Elite Dangerous took a little bit more getting used to. But I really enjoyed it in Star Citizen. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's just go in here. Let's see what we got set up. So I'm going to reset these back to default, right? So okay. So it is default. So I don't typically set any of these things up right now. I will at some point, and I've got another Virpil. I ordered twin Virpils and the throttle for the Virpil. One Virpil, the left stick and the throttle for Virpil was delayed, so I went ahead and just bought a VKB. I wanted to test it out anyways. So I bought the left VKB Kosmosima. But when I get the throttle, I'll be setting up almost all of these things, I say majority of these things, on that throttle for the most part. I mean, I don't see. So yeah. So what I do typically is, these are mouse accesses, right? Don't have to worry about any of this stuff at this point. I just want to set up my standard. So yeah, so that wasn't set up. So it says input 2. That's my right stick. That's my Virpil. And I like my pitch and roll on my right stick. My yaw will be on my twist axis or Z axis on my VKB, the left stick. So it's currently set to roll for whatever reason. I'll be changing that. So roll is going to be the X axis on my Virpil. Strafe up, strafe down is not these. So strafe up, say strafe down is my Z axis on the Virpil. Strafe left, strafe right is X axis on the left stick. Right? So ground vehicles, flight vehicle, general, look left, look right. View left, flight view. So I do not. Why is that? So that must have been this. Look left, look right. Cockpit, nothing in there. Okay, so that's cleared out. Strafe left, right, X. On the throttle, I've been using the left stick, left hat. So the furthest left hat, I use that as throttle forward back. That's my Y axis on my left stick, my Virpil, my VKB. Y axis is my VKB or left stick Y axis. So moving forward and back actually handles my throttle. So then decoupled mode, center hat on my left stick, push button in the center, button 15. Afterburner is my secondary fire button. Man, they got some weird things set up here. So secondary fire button on my VKB or left stick. Burner speed limit. So speed limiter. Yeah. So speed limiter. That's going to be my furthest left hat on the left stick, up and down, right? That same stick, the push button portion of that stick, will be my cruise control. So I don't have to sit here and hold the left stick or the throttle forward or backwards. I can accelerator limiter. I've tied this to the same buttons here, and I just don't like it. I leave it 100%. I can control my acceleration by using my throttle, by using my stick forward and backwards. Space brake, I actually will use the VK or the Virpil, the actual brake lever on the Virpil. G-force safety on off. Leave that alone. So cruise control toggle, that's the button in between my speed limiter, the up down of the speed limiter on the furthest left hat. The push button in is what I use for cruise control. My toggle landing system button is the center hat button on my left stick, the left side of it. The toggle VTOL, because that's typically when I'm going to be toggling my VTOL, is the right direction on the same hat in the center of my left stick. The auto land, I'm going to set the auto land up as the button 14, but it's a hold. Quantum travel, my pinky button on the left. This wasn't what I had before. But I'm going to use the button 5, which is the pinky button on the left stick, the VKB. Now, this is the one thing, the differences between these two sticks. I have fairly, I don't want to say small hands, but definitely I wear a medium-sized glove. The VKB grip fits my hand perfectly. The pinky lays right on the pinky button like it should. The right stick, or the Virpil, is awkward. But my hands, I guess, are probably the pads of my hands are wider because of pushing a bar and lifting. but my fingers are short. So the Virpil doesn't fit my hand real well. It feels cramped as far as the height of my hand. That is short on the grip, but my fingers don't reach all the way around. I can't rest my pinky on that pinky button. It's too far away. I actually have to move my hand completely around to reach it. I don't like that. So I typically will put a button there that I won't use very often, or I'm not stressed. Matter of fact, I'm going to change this button to the right pinky button because I won't be in stress when I'm under stress or in a combat situation when I'm trying to use that button. So let's try that. Flight targeting. Targeting is going to be primarily on my right stick, my Virpil, except for rockets. So the rocket controls will all be on my left stick, my VKB. The secondary trigger has a push-pull where you'd normally have a flip-down trigger. That's a push-pull trigger, and that's I like it a lot. And then you have your actual trigger. Not sure. In the past, I used the trigger as thrust. I'm not going to use the trigger as thrust this time. I'm going to use the secondary fire button as thrust. So I'm kind of not sure how I want to do that yet. Pin and index targets, I use the keyboard for that. And the reason is because only time I use pin targets is when I'm doing the illegal monitor missions, and I'll pin each one of those monitors while I'm trying to find them before I go back through and destroy them. And I don't need all the other stuff to fly and fight. Now it's all cream on the crop, and that's still have buttons available. I still have several. I have the left and right on the left, right, and push button on the left VKB. I've got a joystick that can be either a hat or a joystick just by a push of a button on the VKB. I have a pinky on the VKB as well. And then on my Virpil, I still have the joystick. The left thumb joystick up on top. I have the left thumb hat, 4-way hat with a push button on top. Actually, the little joystick has a push button as well. And then I have another hat that's free on the VKB. And then I have an up and down finger switch on the VKB that's free. And matter of fact, I have the flip down trigger that's still free. So, which I'm not happy with, and I don't probably plan on using it very much, but that's where we're at. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go in here and do video save. So it's one I'm going to save for when I did the video. I'm going to jump into the game. Sweet. And I got my helmet on, so they may have gotten rid of the bug with no helmet. Inevitably, I'll need to invert at least 2 or maybe 3 functions. Did we jump in a server that's getting ready to crash? See here, it looks... I don't see any. Let's look. Do we have... Okay. So... let's go ahead and take off. So... thrust is working, or my vertical thrust is working like it's supposed to. So my right twist. So I don't have to change that. Landing gear works. This thing doesn't have VTOLs, so... oh, so... get out of here, out of the way. Thrust is backwards, but to be honest with you, that's the only thing at this point that needs to be inverted. Change that, invert that. So that was, remember, that's the left VKB, which is 1, which is joystick 1. So controls, POTUS 1. I'm going to increase the dead zone on the y-axis. Probably going to increase, I'll just go ahead and increase the dead zone on all of them. Doesn't hurt to bump it up just a little bit, in my opinion anyways. 25, joystick saturation, rotation, not to worry about. I don't mess with any of that stuff. Sensitivity curves, I do change this a little bit. So flight yaw, I'm going to increase the sensitivity curve on it to about 250. I don't have straight up or down. I'm going to increase the sensitivity curve to 200 on this. And then strafe left and right, I'm going to increase to 200 as well. So I like really fine adjustments to be able to like really fine tune my aim or you know whatever, so that it's not, I'm not bouncing around trying to, you know, get perfectly lined up on something. Dead zone, got that. So let's do the inversion settings now. So flight movement. So this is kind of deceiving because people, it's not strafe, it's actually throttle, but in here it's called forward, backwards strafe. But let's back up because there is no save for that portion of it, but it's not that big a deal. Let's look here. Yep. So forward and backwards working. I let go of the stick. It goes to center. We're good. Good. Dead zone. So let's look at, I like that slow transition. Yeah, I like that. That's about right. So then you're not having to do this whole back and forth thing to try to get, you know, centered on something and hope to stop. You can actually slowly pull it over. Now I will have to do the right. The yaw is still a little bit touch sensitive. Dead zone's a little bit tight. Same with the roll. I don't like that. For whatever reason, my character's head's floating all over the place. Don't like that at all. A little awkward. But I'll make another video. Maybe it'll help you guys out. I'll edit this thing down to where it's not 45 minutes long. I mean, I get long-winded, and thank you very much for checking it out, and hope to see you in the verse.